Hey everybody, it's Paul with CDA Software. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's video. So down here in the left hand side we have a new feature that's called Show All Claims Waiting to be Scheduled. And so what that's going to do when we click on that button, it's going to populate all of these new different colored push pins that are a bit bigger than the pins from a normal route map. And most of us are familiar with this look because we have down here in the bottom right, it says Show Claims Waiting for Cancellation. So most of us are familiar with this. You click on it and it'll show you all your customers that are on the cancellation list. You double click and they get on the schedule. Now what we've done, the next generation of that again is going to be Show All Claims Waiting to be Scheduled. Now the reason why I am starting it this way is because I want you to know that there are two main criterias that you need to be aware of before you get started with using this feature. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and review those two pieces of criteria that you need to know about. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back to this video and then we're going to go ahead and figure out how do we show these pins and how do we go ahead and get them on the schedule from there. So let's go ahead and get started with the first piece of information that you need to know about. Okay, so here we are. We're back into the main view of CDA. Now the first thing I want to talk to you about is that how do we go ahead and get the criteria to show which claims are going to show up in that view that we just looked at. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go to the Utilities menu. Then we are going to go to In-House Sub Status. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this first In-House Sub Status, which is 000. And now what's going to happen is I clicked on it. And there's a new area that we have that's called Scheduler Dashboard. And what we see is that we can enable or disable this checkbox. Currently, because it has a check, this checkbox is enabled. And it says Pin to Map for Jobs Waiting to be Scheduled. So all the claims that are in this substatus of 000, because we have it selected, they're going to populate on that map. Now when they populate on the map, they're going to get a color of blue. So you're going to be able to identify all the claims that are on the schedule waiting to be scheduled for 000. So now let's take a look at another in-house sub status. What we're going to do is we're going to go to 110, which is a new claim waiting to be contacted. So we're going to double click. Again, it's enabled and it is in green. So this particular in-house substatus group is customers waiting to get on the schedule. Now here's an important tip trick I want to show you. I'm going to go ahead and save out. And then I have 110 here, which is new claim waiting to get contacted. Now the grouping to that is going to be 111, 112, and 113. So all four of these in-house substatuses are being used to get a hold of the customer one time, two times, three times. So let's click on 111. What we can do is we can group our colors so that it makes more sense to us. So we can say, yes, it is enabled and it's going to be green. So multiple substatuses can have the same color and you can use them for logical grouping so that you know, oh, all of my greens are for, customers that are getting on the schedule, or even parts have arrived, need copay, or something of that type of logic. But you can go ahead and have multiple in-house substatuses with the same color. So I did want you to be aware of that so you can use it in the fashion that works best for you. Let's go ahead and click on this one and we can see this is going to be black. This is 175. Again, it's enabled. So the first criteria that you're aware of is you go to an in-house substatus, you enable it, you give it a color, and you're all set. Now the next criteria I need to show you about, which is the most important one, is that when you're in the map, like we were before, you just like in the cancellation, you're going to double click it, which we'll show you in a moment. You double click it, it gets on the schedule. But when it gets on the schedule, it's going to be auto-assigned an in-house substatus. So you want to be aware of that. So I'll say that one more time. When you add a job from waiting to be on the schedule, we're going to auto-assign it a new in-house substatus. So what we're going to do is show you what that means. So we have an in-house sub status that's called 199, on schedule, waiting for technician to arrive. And so all of these claims that have this in-house sub status, they are on the schedule, which I'll show you. And I'll explain this more when we get into the part of the video where we select a claim and add it to the schedule from the awaiting list. So here we are. It says CDA job status. Now you want to make sure that rescheduled for is selected for the in-house sub status when jobs are added to the schedule. So when we're in this list and I double click this push pin, it will be auto assigned an in-house sub status. That in-house sub status will be 199 because this area right here says rescheduled for. So now let me show you something else. Let's go ahead and click on 199B. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I accidentally am in here and I'm like, oh, I want to make this the one for, I want to make this in-house sub status for when the job is on the schedule. If I select this right here, I'm going to get a prompt that says, hey, you cannot do that because it has already been pre-assigned to in-house sub status code 199. So what you want to be aware of is that this particular option, rescheduled for, can only be assigned to one in-house sub status. So that's what I wanted you to know about that. So now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and take a look at the scheduling dashboard and learn all that we need to learn to continue with this training video. Okay, so here we are. We're back in the scheduling dashboard. And what I want to show you before we get started is you'll notice in the scheduling dashboard over here where it says code, this is the in-house sub status code. You'll notice all of our jobs are set to 199. So what should happen is when we add a job, it will automatically add 199 as well, because prior to getting to this stage of the video, I showed you how to assign that when we were in the in-house sub status code of 199. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to say show all awaiting to be scheduled. We're just going to click on that, and it's going to give us a dialog box that says, hey, here is all of the in-house sub status codes that I can show you for jobs waiting to get on the schedule. Now if I want to, I can single click any one of these and I can just click submit. Or if I want, I can come here, hold down the control key, and I can independently click on which in-house sub statuses I want to see. But for our video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say submit. And you can see it is populating them rather quickly, which is nice. And then what we can do is we can pan around, we can see all the different technicians, where their routes are, and where they have the availability to assign jobs if we want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hover over this claim right here. So this claim is 150186 with the last name of Doe. So we're going to want to remember that for our video. So this claim is 450186 Doe, excuse me. It's a Samsung microwave, and we can see it is in the in-house sub status of 176. We can click right here on the red. We can see this claim number 451656. We have truncated the name to do for 3 characters. We can see it's an LG dishwasher with the status code of 900. What we can do if we want, we can go ahead and we can, if we wanted to get rid of all these push pins and we only wanted to see one group, all we would do is we could say refresh. We could say show. We can come down here and say, hey, only show me in-house sub status code 176. Let's say again you want to clear it, you can clear it. Let's get back to where we want to say show all. And so we're going to come here, we're going to say submit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and say, hey, I want to add this job to the schedule. Now again, what I'm going to say is that when we add this to the schedule, the last name is going to be Doe, the claim number is going to be 450186, and it will populate with an in-house sub status code of 199. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we double click. Do you want to add this to the scheduler? Absolutely. And now we're all familiar with this dialog box. Hey, who's our tech? There's our tech. And then it's going to say, hey, where do you want to put this job? We're all familiar with this. We're going to say, hey, this is the group, this is the zone, and we're going to say, hey, we're going to give this a few slots. And again, we're familiar with the time band. Hey, what's my time band? We're going to say all day, and we're just going to say submit. Now, again, we're going to remember this is job number 450186. We're going to say submit. And then you'll notice it's going to say, hey, do you want to send the customer a text? We're going to say absolutely. And now you'll notice it's going to say, hey, this job has been successfully added to the scheduler. Please click the refresh button to update the grid. And it has an emoji thumbs up. And you look down here, it's going blink, 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 click me, click me. I'm going to click it. It's going to do a refresh. Then you'll notice it highlighted the job 450186. It added it to an in-house sub status of 199 because that was the criteria that we selected early on our video. So that will conclude today's video.